Howdy. Just doing a little pre-game prep. Got some coffee. There's probably going to be a coffee break somewhere in this stream this time. I'm trying to catch up on all manner of stuff. So I'm going to do a variety of different things. I got some basing to do for, whatchamacallit, the Fudge Fiend, which is going to include this neat little dead Tau guy. I think he's going to be getting stepped on. Seems appropriate. I managed to... When was it? I don't remember. It had to be like last night. Though I drizzled a little bit of stuff on it today. Managed to add some more glop and things and a broken apart ultramarine slid on under that guy. Seen a little better there. Whoa. He's getting driven over. It's still, I don't want to say damp. A little something. So things that I have on the docket, I've got to finish off, hopefully, or get close to, basing close to, 7 Plague Marines, a Noxious Blightbringer, a Sorcerer. Still got Gurg the Foul that I got to do a lot of work on. And some heroish champion guy. I have Fetid Bloat Drone that only has some basic material and primer on it. So, you know, I'm just going to dance around and get lots of minuscule tasks done. This base, I'm going to sort of do a bit urban, so I'm going to concrete it. So I'm going to mix up some basing material and I'll work with some corkboard bits. What I think this is going to look like, because this guy's got a little bit of a gangster lean, is I was pondering having him foot up on that I-beam, but I think his foot's actually going to be behind it and crushing. Oh, I wonder if I can. Nah, he's flat on the bottom. I think he's going to be behind the I-beam and crushing this poor little Tau infantryman, and then he'll sit nice and flat. I think I'm just going to like do like a gray concrete thing. So at the very least I can get some material and some chunky broken concrete bits going there. So I think that's probably where we'll start. Went to the dentist again today for part 1 of a cleaning. Gums are a little sore, but it had to be done. Tomorrow I get some fillings. And then in a couple weeks I go back for part 2 of the cleaning. And hopefully I don't have to see the dentist till probably next year. We hope. Hopefully no more drama. Let my teeth settle into their place. Had a good work stream yesterday over at the Go On Entertainment Twitch. And actually doing okay on YouTube too, which is nice. Trying to just build some traction. All right, so I have some neutral basing pasty stuff, and I need a decent gray, which I think is probably going to be ash gray, that I'll mix with it. So somewhere in the middle of the grays. Look, while I'm working, love to hear it. Because this will get washed. And it will get dry brushed. And the wash will, who's my dead body? The little Tau guy. Look at that. So I found, he's all flat and nondescript on the other side. I found that I had a baggie of dead bodies. So I slapped one, probably a little tough to tell, but it was an ultramarine. His legs actually severed too. Getting driven over, slimed over by my beast of Nurgle. Threw him in the mix. I gotta edge this thing too. So that's fun. It's got, you know, a few little torsos, a few little legs in there. In the bag. The bag. Where's the bag? I probably put the bag away, to be honest. Oh, no, I didn't. But it's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's got some orcs. It's got like a... It's got the guy with the dope hat that's a... the Commandos heroish guy. It's got some guardsmen in it with like missing bits and some poses. It's got a really good orc that's like sitting up against a pillar. Yeah, he slimed me exactly. It's got lined up body bags in it. It's just got a lot of cool different stuff in it. And I forgot that I had this because I couldn't find it for a while, and out of sight, out of mind. And then I found it, and I was like, oh, I should start putting dead bodies on things. As one does. So I needed something to get a leg up with this guy because he's got a little bit of a gangster lean because I never get my legs quite right. And so he'll be like he was hiding behind that. He'll get smushed. I never know how much gray to put in. So we'll start stirring. We'll see how it goes. I got the message from the local store Discord saying that, hey, your battle force and your codex will be ready for pickup on Saturday. So I'm pretty hyped about that. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, then, oh my gosh. Like, I picked up a bunch of AdMech stuff from Grot, and, like, I'm at the point where I'm not even sure I remember what I still have from there. It's just in a box that says AdMech. And that was, like, last summer, I think. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that I'm not on the whoop. I bet they are. Let me see how I picked that up. Kill this. I am a little bit negligent. I need to always hit the multi-stream chat over here. And I didn't. Oh, that's not even the right channel. Oh my God, I have so many things going on. Hey, Shiny Mew. Thanks for the heads up on that. There's got to be an easier way. Where is the channel? I gotta look myself up. Man. That up. Hey, I'm live. Doink. Where'd that go? Baseballer fiend. As you do. Nice. Yeah. All right. Now I have both chats up, I think. Or at least I have the multi-chat stream up. So it should be good. Thank you very much for that heads up. I wouldn't ignore nobody. It's good to see you, Jake. Yeah, so the thing is, like, going through, you're probably seeing both, strangely enough, me through, whatchamacallit, what's it called? Streamlabs. If I don't click over to the multi-stream thing, it's only showing me Twitch. Oh, ha ha ha! That's right. That's right. That's up there. God, I'm so lost. Good point. I could just look up there. I'm to the point where I got like, I got a few windows going on. It's getting messy. I'm gonna need a full-time producer soon, director. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna use a brush. Yep, giving this multi-streaming thing a go. Obviously, like, it's not hard, but it's not as simple. All right, so this is going to go on. I might actually have to thin this out a little. Might. We'll see. And this is a good, like, neutral gray. Let me get some of it down where I know it's going to be underneath the torso of this. So you save a job opening for Oddling number one. It's funny how that works out. Sometimes that's how you get a job. couple little broken up bits in here, and I'll squish them in. And then I'll carefully, mind you, check that this guy still sits pretty okay. He does. Maybe a little water? Maybe not. Maybe I'll just roll this in here. Yeah, it is going to need some water. If I kept an even remotely normal schedule, I would be strongly thinking about having someone just kind of come in and produce, but it's too chaotic. A good buddy of mine offered to do it over on the Go On Entertainment channel for me, and I was like, likewise. Wait till that gets moving and has any sort of solid regular schedule. But all that game dev stuff is going really, really well. I managed to oversleep today, which is a little bit of like, oops. Which doesn't really happen. Because my house is pretty noisy in the morning, because there's just like kids getting ready, getting up for stuff. You're welcome. I clocked in as soon as you told me I was required to, boss. Jumped right on it. I appreciate the motivational bump. Clocking in. So true. Putting it in. It's a good job. It's a very good job. You know, I probably could have glued those things on afterwards, but whatever. To make crazy... There's a couple components of like where two people is very different than one. One, like, there's a lot of parallelizable work in game dev. Now, of course, because of that, there's a lot of dependency, but there's a lot of stuff that Will can do while I'm sort of working on the other piece. So, like, there's a realtor character that we added in, and, like, he can be working on the code to make it go while I'm working on the icon for it and such. And in that case, like, there wasn't really a dependency across the two of them. But what we're doing right now is getting multiple levels to work. And so he's doing the code behind that. I'm making the multiple levels. And there's obviously dependency there. If you can't, through the game, get to them, it doesn't matter how many levels you have. And you can cycle through levels all you want, but if they don't go anywhere because there's no actual levels, that's no good. So there's a good motivating component to it that I love a lot, where today I woke up late, so I overslept, missed what is essentially a morning stand-up, which is crazy because it's not early. Was almost late for my dentist appointment as a result. Which is wild. Made it to the dentist appointment, got back, managed to like knock out the work that I thought was going to take me today and tomorrow, but like part of that is just like the awesome motivation of someone else is cranking on it. You know, in our stream, it was like, here's what we'd like to be by Thursday, and then you commit to it, and you see what happens. And it was good. I've washed all of these boarding action walls. I gotta let dry and cure. I'm gonna try to expedite that process tomorrow. Do you have a very soft fan that you have in front of a drying shelf? A nice, gentle fan. So means I can take a beat, start working on Singular Dude again. Yeah, you're due. You had a rough last month. I mean, not rough, but like vigorous. Ooh, a small space heater. Yeah, a lot of those have like a decent fan on them. That's not a bad idea. I mean, obviously you don't want to cook the stuff. Two is really, really solid. Two is a very magic number. Three would be perfect because then we'd have an artist, but I can't pay for an artist right now. can't do it, and I can't really realistically partner in an artist because we start splitting the money three ways. The money that does not exist yet. The math starts getting more and more precarious. And I'm definitely not, for the foreseeable future, hiring permanent employees, as I'd be devastated if I had to let them go in short order. Like, this needs to make enough money soundly to pay the bills. Everything other than that will just be like contracting people. Which sucks, but like, if you want to keep your scale small, you know, when we're not getting venture capital, you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to hire all these people and not know if I'll be able to pay them in a month or two. Not that I could pay them now. I mean, frankly, like, we're in a spot where we're like so on the cusp of just the very first steps of early access that, and it's been that way. It's been like a pregnated pause for a while. Some of it was like leading up to this spot and leading up to Will leaving his job, throwing his life away to go do this. Some of it was like you kind of have to bend the game backwards to make a demo out of it. And then you spend a lot of time not undoing that stuff, but like there's a lot of choices along the way that are based on the fact that you're like making a specific demo build. And now we're rolling. Like, we are 1 week into doing this as a duo, and like we are just cranking through tasks. There's a little solid glob piece. Get that out of here. Right in my trash. There we go. And, you know, once we can see any sort of tangible sense, once any money's coming in, it's basically like, it doesn't matter if it's $5, but once any money's coming in and we're not just like burning savings, then you can start to plan around things. Until that happens, it's just like, all that's just fantasy. And that's the spot that we're in now, where like we can see getting into early access, maybe early access alone, like cranks out enough nickels and dimes. I doubt it, but enough nickels and dimes to like not have to worry about it and just like, all right, let's just get in there and rock this thing out. At the very least, it keeps you from burning as much as fast. I need a tinier tool to get in here. Once you get a sense of it, it's like you can sort of project out. Like, $100 a week does not a mortgage payment make, but as soon as you know that's where you're at and where you're building from, and all the moves you make in terms of developing the game can like start from that perspective. Like, you could say, hey, yeah, working a job before you get out of high school is the way to go. It is the jam. I started working when I was 15, and when I finally started driving a car, it just made life easier. I definitely missed out on some stuff that some people got to do, but I pretty much just burned the candle at both ends. There are absolutely times I showed up for my diner cooking job at 4 a.m. and was had not slept, had been at some weird party out in the woods, but you can sort of handle that at a young age. Shared screen printing place, that's pretty cool. It's good, tangible skill. Any sort of like manufacture, put together kind of gig ends up teaching you a lot in general about systems and the steps it takes. Multi-step processes, learning about those in a tangible sense at a young age is pretty solid, because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of things that are like, show up here. Here's your place in the greater good, greater scheme of things. And you start thinking, everything starts becoming an RTS where you just think about like resource outputs. All right, get some of this glop out of here. All right, so that's my baseline gray. I'm a little light on this side. More accurately, a little heavy on that side, but I like it. So grab a little bit more of this stuff, and then I can set it in front of the almighty fan. The resource management games are like, it's like multiple college courses in business administration. Like if you can handle even like simple RTS level economics, Vespine gas, if you will, you're like a massive leap ahead. There's a little bit of concrete in there. I should probably grab a couple more little bits while this stuff's wet and just drop them in. And then conveniently, because this is neutral basing material that I added paint to, I want to go back and paint the yeah, you need more overlords. Well said. You go back and paint over these if you want to make them into the same kind of concrete. Conveniently, it's the same paint color you use. I think this was ash gray. Yeah, so I'll just leave it out because I leave everything out. I'll just leave this ash gray off to the side. When I get back to this task, I'm not worrying too much about, I don't have to blend to a color. I'm good to go. And the reason, urban stuff, it's good to grab a few little chunks and bits of detritus is that you don't actually raise the basing material that much. Like if this was like outdoor or mud, I'd be tapping a bit to get like little peaks, firm peaks in the frosting. With this, I was very much going sideways so you don't get too much of that. Little bits of broken concrete are fun. Just stick them in here. If I was smart, I would have kept that cup, watered it down a little bit, and just dripped some on here. You know what? I don't think it went that far. Yeah. I still can be smart. Some more water in this thing. Because what most basing material is made out of, as far as I can tell, is some form of grit. Yeah, gotta get to the actual lurking. Indeed. Lurk away. Most of this stuff is like Elmer's glue in some form of grit. So, a lot of times, for spots that I want mud to be splotchy, or in cases where you're adding chunks of stuff, you just drip a bit of loosened up material over it. So you're not getting a ton of the grit, but you're getting a sort of loosey-goosey glue to it. Stick and go. You're basically just loosening up the glue that's in there, but also getting whatever color in your base material there is. And you just drizzle it over stuff, and that'll soak into the cork without covering it in too much poop stuff. Like, it's all wiggly in there, but you know what? But drip some loose juice on it. Of course, there are bits of grit in there. The alternative is just take some Elmer's glue and water, which is probably the smart way to do it. Oh, did I choke this thing? I think I did. All right, back to the way I said I was going to do it. I thought I was going to do it. Obviously, I do not want to hit the plastic geometry that I've added. But what this will do is just soak into the cork a little bit, make it a little firmer. And by the time it's dry, I'll have a little bit more stuck-onness than it does right now. Drip, drip, drip. Because if you add enough water, it's just going to evaporate out of there. Leave the glue behind. But it will soak in. Anything that is legit porous, that's kind of okay. Like with the moss that I did on Typhus's base and on that Hellbrute, that stuff is just brittle. And instead of loosened up basing material, I just use some of that Diorama Effects stuff. That worked just fine. You know what? If I'm just going to be smart about it, I'll use a plate. Rather than just putting that on a shelf. Let's be smart about things. Makes it a lot easier to pick up from behind here. Now, why I'm throwing stuff back here is that through this set of shelves, on that other side there, the same little fan that blows a wee bit of semi-cool air into this side of the room is back there also. It's an essential part of this operation. Am I cooking this mic? Yeah, I'm cooking it a little bit. All right. It's in daytime meeting mode. The question is, how much do I actually need to do with these guys? These guys might just be a tiny little baby wash away from essentially being done. Grimed up, remetalled. I think that's what they're going to get. I think I'm going to mix a wash for these guys. See how that goes. What do I want? Don't want to go crazy dark at all. I don't want to go crazy green at all because these guys are kind of chill. I don't think we're going to go Beltan. But I can put some Sonian camo shade in here. Probably going to need quite a bit. I am going to water this down a little bit. That on one side. I shouldn't have checked that thing. And I have very little Mortarian grime left, which is a super awesome, albeit very subtle wash. I wonder... Gosh. Just in case I need to darken it in a couple spots, I'll add some Viejo Umber. So that's Thonian Camo Wash. There we go. Whoop, a little splot out of there. So what you can see, barely, in this dish, the light's probably kind of washed out. I got all three washes in there, sort of sprayed in three corners. I'll add a couple drops of water to it, different spots, just so that as I'm going, it stays a little bit thin. What I'll do with these guys is sort of scooch them around, take them off the dish, put them on deck circle. I'll scooch around, hit them with the different stuff, from different sections of this dish. So I'll get a little bit of mix of color, but for the most part, absolutely fine if this ends up all completely blended. It's just a little neat to not start from that point and then being able to, like, I'm mostly going to grab from the middle, essentially. And then if I want to, if a spot needs to be a little darker brown, I can grab from more over here. If it needs to be greener, I can grab from over there. And for this wash, it's pretty much all over. We don't want a crazy amount of pooling. Like, they're supposed to look grim and dark. But I am going to move this wash around quite a bit. Just keep it moving. They're dirty boys. Not clean boys, but I'm not trying to fully darken them up. That's the main thing. And so you see how heavy that is? I'm just going to take the brush, pick some of that up, deposit it elsewhere. And then the last thing I'll do on these guys, before they're probably pretty much good to go for basing, is I'll pick out anything else that needs to be brightened up again. So, eye lenses. Whoop. I actually don't need to hit the plasma part of that, but I probably will have to brighten that up again. Plasma lenses, plasma, helmet lenses, anything else that's glowy, strange pauldron eyeballs, any of that stuff. You give slight little dabs, little to those guys later on. All right, you look ready. Put that back there. This guy's a weird, like, quasi special model. I mean, he's put on a Space Marine base, but that helmet, I think the throwing grenade, I think the special pauldron. I think this guy, isn't this the guy that normally has the big tank on his butt? Hey, what's up? How you doing, Miati? I think he is that guy. Anyway, this is Space Marine now. Plague Marine, proper. So the other thing that the reason I'm, like, dropping my wash in a dish, and doing drops of different kinds, is I actually like how it looks if the wash isn't identical on every square millimeter of the model. I probably wouldn't do this on Imperial Fists, but what's that sound? Hey, Sharp. They've been subscribed for 17 months. Crazy. How's that even possible? Did I start when I was 14? Thank you, buddy. But yeah, different colors of wash, naturally wet blending, pretty solid. 17 months. God. Wild, I tell you. Fan flippin' tastic. Congratulations. Yeah, it was interesting when my dad retired. Because my dad retired pretty young. He was a UPS dude. And, you know, since, like, back in the 70s, and he's been retired for eons now. Yeah, really good pension. And it was the kind of job, you know, union job that, you know, you work for a certain amount of time and you work really hard while you're doing it. But then when you're done, you just cash out. You're like, peace. So my dad's been retired for a while, and my mother wasn't. my mother wanted to keep working for a bit. And so my dad had this moment of just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Feel as if I'm too young to retire, but too old for another career. Well, I mean, the neat thing is, like, if you're in an okay spot financially, like now you can just like do something that would never have sustained you, but like still could be like side hustle level of stuff. Like my dad like painted house interiors for a while right after he retired. He just, you know, pick up gigs for cash. Mostly just to stay busy. He didn't really need the money. But like he liked doing it. And he had a couple buddies that did it, and so like he could just sort of like join them on gigs and just hang out and like shoot the shit, proverbially speaking. That's wild, man. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, just become a mercenary. Join the French Foreign Legion. Move to some place out in the middle of nowhere, some other continent, and just like services for hire. Oh, God bless America, huh? Oh yeah, these guys are gonna be happy as all heck. Dirty them up. Umber's nice. It's like patently dark, but like walks the line between a like it's not quite Agrax. It's not as light as Sepia. May I interest you in a career with the Diamond Dogs? I don't even know what that means. Illuminate me, buddy. Sweet Sea Base. That might be housing a nuke. Oh, good lord. Sweet. Sounds like fun. Paramilitary groups and Metal Gears. Oh, good lord. That was like itching at the depths of memory. Like, what did I know this? Or I at least knew this. Why can't I put a finger on it? Good call, buddy. Going deep. Like it. Kojima is life. He is something. It's a piece of work. An amazing piece of work. Yeah, that's true. You do Merc work is like you got one duffel bag, and that's about it. But like I might, if I retired, I might at that point consider like model painting commissions. Not to survive, but just like to make sure I'm getting out there and painting a bunch of different stuff. Like, just take special orders and that's it. Just to be like, doing something to get stuff out there. Honestly, though, like, if I retired right now, I would just paint all day. Bring Tim Hortons to the rest of the world. It's not bad. It's not. It's the noble pursuit, for sure. This guy's so cool he doesn't need pauldrons. I think from now on, I'm probably like in almost every Space Marine unit, gonna leave pauldrons off one guy. Like you get that, or maybe even just leave one off of one guy sometimes. Like the World Eaters is like the classic thing to just be like, yo, I don't armor, whatever. But like elsewise, on a big beefy dude who's got like a huge power pack thing going and has got the flail, it's pretty tight. Like looks menacing. The guy's like, yeah, pauldrons don't give a crap. Pauldrons are for nerds. I'm here to smush things. And how, buddy? And how? Yeah, Saturday's the day. My way of saying yes. I got the battle force. May the battle force be with you. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm very excited in my monotone, nerdy sort of way. Lots of good stuff to paint in that box. A whole new Capitano. And a bunch of dudes and toys that I genuinely can't get enough of. No, the battle box does not have the Rhino. The Combat Patrol does. Combat Patrol's tiny. It's like, I mean, it's got a Rhino in it, but it's like, it is not the Combat Patrol of old, where it's like 30 Poxwalkers, 7 Space Marines, Typhus, and a Putrefier. It's like Terminators, a Rhino, and I think Plague Marines. Yeah, it's pretty sad, isn't it? It's though I think at this point, like, if you look at the internet, everyone and their uncle just treats the Rhino in a good way. Like it's just like the opportunity to like pull out the crazy glue, pull out whatever stops you have, and just like make tentacles out of whatever's in your house. It's I think it gets like modded so regularly that I almost feel like Games Workshop doesn't have to do anything to it. Just like leave it alone. Just let people sit there with clay and go nuts. Like I saw one that's just like you could see all the way through it. It's a sphincter. And you could like boop, you can see all the way to the other side. So good. But yeah, if I remember correct, not that I do, but if I remember correct, the Battle Force box is a Plague Burst Crawler, a Blight Drone, and I think a Myphitic Blight Hauler, and then it's Blight Lord Terminators. Is it? Maybe. It's the leader guy and some. It might not even have Blight Lords in it. It's the new leader guy, the Lord of Poxes. and I think some Plague Marines. It doesn't matter. It's all good. Be happy with it no matter what. This is the first time in my Warhammer career that I've been around for a Death Guard box to show up. And so in that regard, like, it's extremely, like, fun, special moment. And it's been, like, a little bit of a challenge, but, like, it's been interesting in the intervening, like, couple of years because, like, I'm like, oh, like, you know, this army gets a big box, this army gets a big box. And, like, Death Guard was, like, just sitting on its old big boxes, or, like, the Combat Patrol that had been around since gosh knows when. And so to, like, experience the boot up and, like, the pre-ordering of a box that is, like, your army, it's a nice treat. 7 Plague Marines, yeah, 5 Blight Lords, Plague Burst Crawler, Blight Hauler, Fetid Bloat Drone, Lord of Boxes, yeah. It's all just, like, those are all super fun models. Like, that box is a very, very fun time painting. Oh, my guy's so good. He's so good. I'm very excited for that guy. What I genuinely want to do is, like, get a really solid Death Guard infantry army going. And so obviously, like, you know, more Plague Marines, certainly a big help. I've been working on more Poxwalkers. Like, the fact that Poxwalkers have infiltrate now, big deal. The fact that they can, very big deal. I don't mean it in like, haha, big deal. The fact that they have a few more leaders that they can hang with, great. The Lord of Poxes, I'll look up exactly his shtick, but Lord of Poxes. Data sheet. Should I even do that? I think I have the Codex Death Guard PDF sitting here. He's pretty good if you're looking to do, like, some interesting infantry that makes their way to it. So adds to contagion range, which is good. And then Shrouded Disease, while it's leading a unit, that unit cannot be targeted by ranged attacks unless the attacking model is within 18 inches. Like, finally getting to the front without getting shot to shit. Pretty good. Makes me want to make a Death Guard unit that is, like, melee, like, not even worried. After this box, are there any Death Guard models you need? That is a good question. I will need a Land Raider at some point. So I don't know that I'll actually make a Death Guard one. I mean, at some point I will. At some point, like, I will backfill every last thing. But I almost don't want to do a Land Raider for Death Guard, because, like, the idea of them charging out of a vehicle just seems a little weird to me. Not that they don't charge. I charge them all the time. But let's see. Let's go down the magic list. Let's find out. All right. Typhus, got him. Demon Prince of Nurgle, got him. Demon Prince with wings. I still own the wings. I'm not going to count that as something I have to do. I don't really believe in the Demon Prince with wings because his move is like, his move's 12. Very Death Guardy. 8 is like crazy. Lord of Virulence, got one via Dork Depot. Lord of Poxes, we'll have it on Saturday. I do, and I just glued his wing back on. Whee! This is, I painted this model early. I didn't paint it on Twitch. I painted this when I was only on YouTube a couple years ago. My wife, I was not going to paint Morty. I was going to avoid it. My wife got him for me for my birthday. Yeah. I just had to get his wing back on. Lord of Contagion, though I don't have this dope version, I got one. Malignant Plaguecaster, I got him now. Blightbringer, got him now. Foul Blightspawn, got him. Putrefire, got him. Talonman, yes. Plague Surgeon, no. I do need a Plague Surgeon. Everyone's like, oh, Plague Surgeon's not good. Well, not bad. Poxwalkers, It's got 50 of them. Icon Bearer. Not sure if I have this guy. I think I have the guy who holds it in his hand regular, which may be the same model, just a different build out. But I'm not sure if I got this guy. Plague Marines, I got a few. Deathshroud Terminators, got them. Blightlord Terminators, got them. Chaos Spawn, I don't have. Tempting. Not sure I need them. My Fittic Blight Hauler, got it. Fetid Bloat Drone, got it. Fetid Bloat Drone with Heavy Blight Launcher. His face reminds me of Fat Bastard from Austin Powers. Yeah. Nauseous Rotbone, I believe is his name. I will have one of these with a Blight Launcher. Because one of them comes in the battle box. Hellbrute, got 3 of them. And one of them's in the old sculpt. Thank you very much. Defiler. Not that these things are going to last in 40k much longer. And I think they're from like the 1940s. I do need to get a Defiler at some point. They're just too cool and weird. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Sharp. Plague Burst Crawler. Soon we'll have 2 of those. I probably should Death Guard up a Predator at some point. I probably should. I only consider that one. Maybe get a Land Raider. That's maybe. I don't have a Death Guard Rhino. I have a Rhino that's waiting to be built. I shouldn't say that. I have a sculpt, a 3D print that oh, you know what? While I'm out here, I'll probably do it. I have a 3D print that my 4-year-old painted, and I'm gonna put a wash on it. So I do have a Rhino. Oh yeah, no, the Defilers are still in season. I don't remember if they're good. They're in the book, provided this PDF is correct. Deadly Demise 3. They got the aura. Blah, blah, blah. They can move through monsters and vehicles, which is not too bad with Death Guard, because they're always in each other's flipping way. Barrage of Filth in your shooting phase. After this model is shot, select what enemy unit. They can't have the benefit of color. So they're, I don't know. I don't know if their weapons are really good. Wow. Their weapons are kind of, damage-wise, pretty low. But they're shooty. I mean, it's got 14 wounds and a 3/5 save. And it moves 8. It's got 11 toughness. I don't know. I don't imagine... yeah, that thing's baller. I don't imagine they're of that much use. Like, you'd probably just want to put something else in, but I feel like I should have one. Got Rodigus. Well, now we're going into straight-up nerdly stuff for that. Yeah, I'm in pretty good shape. I do desperately need to pick up... what was I saying? I need a surgeon. And I need... but I do want... that Lord of Contagion, the big smiley guy. But I think I'll probably just end up getting a Defiler on principle, because I just think they're neat. They look like they're from the game Doom. They got that funk going to them. All right, this brush is probably not going to be big enough. This thing's going to be a mess. I don't know where I'm going to put it when I'm done, but we'll figure something out. I do know where I'm going to put it when I'm done. I'm going to move my Poxwalkers right now. You guys can hang out with Mortarion. Zoop. Metal dishes, man. Tell you. Metal dishes are where it's at. Now I can spin this thing around as much as I need, and when I want to set it somewhere to dry, I don't have to grab the model. I just pick up this nice, delicious plate. All right. What is a big brush? Oh, it's still got the label on it. That's like brand new. I'm not going to use it on that. Yeah. Blue brush equals cheap. Let's get this party started. Nurgle this thing up. Or at least grime it up. Now, this is not the only thing I'm going to do, but what I'm also not going to do is interfere with the paint scheme. I'm not going to add any more paint to this. This thing is like a work of art. It is done. Carries all of the artist's intent. I am not going to defile it. But a wash is okay. And I may hit it with a dry brush afterwards. God, this thing's huge. So much real estate. And I have a funny feeling that, like, I'm going to take this to a tournament at some point. Someone's going to say something silly, and then I'm going to be able to say, yeah, my daughter, my 4-year-old painted that. So shut the fuck up. It's basically this whole thing's bait. If she wants to paint it more, that's fine. But you can't mess with art. I have a feeling, just throat chop, then enough said. Oh my god, throat chopping is like, what was it? It was last night. I don't know if you've seen the show, The Righteous Gemstones, but there's an amazing throat chop in it. This is like season 2 or 3. It was 3. I was just watching last night, just catching up, because I've not been in the party the whole time. This lady throat chops this other lady. It was like genuinely fantastic. Throat chop, quite overlooked. At least once this thing is washed, I can varnish it, post it on Instagram at that point. I feel comfortable putting it on a table against Will, the only person that I really play Warhammer against. That show is amazing. I swear, that show is like painfully good. And I've always enjoyed Danny McBride's work, but there is something about that show that is like, I mean, obviously everyone keeps getting better at the stuff that they do, but like that show is so on top of its game. And I think the reason I'm a little bit more impressed with it than previous offerings is that, like, his other shit's absolutely funny, but this one, there's so many characters in it that are just like wildly funny, that you can't catch a breath. Like, there's no place to hide at any given moment. Someone out of like 12 people might have an absolutely killer line or look or something, and it's just like keeps you on your toes. And even with, like, relatively speaking, somewhat despicable characters, like, it's not like you ever, like, I don't at least be like, wow, you know, that person really turned a huge corner. But when they turn the smallest corner ever into being, like, a decent person, it feels good. But what a cast. And I'm a huge Walton Goggins fan. Yeah, Vice Principal's absolutely awesome. What I like about it is it's a little bit more intimate. Like, it's not as about so many characters, but I'm a huge Walton Goggins fan. So, like, that is just, like... And it's a very different role for him in that than it is as Baby Billy. Baby Billy's just, like, 100,000% over the top all the time. Like, it must just be exhausting. to play that role. Like you think about an actor being able to just like every day show up and do that. But he's fantastic. But like in a lot of shows, someone like Baby Billy would be like a head nod sort of role where like he'd be important in one season and then like you might every once in a while just get a glimpse of him. And the fact that there's just like whole episodes over time that are just about his crazed arc, like there's always space for him in the show. And he's like a super important like foil to the Gemstones in a lot of ways. But like he doesn't ever turn into an afterthought. Baby Billy's always a threat. In a good way. Team player. His own team, but still. It's a franchise guy. I love, at the point that I'm at in season 3, like Eli is like good buddies working with, was it Junior? And like that's awesome. Eric Roberts is fantastic. I've always liked Eric Roberts a lot. Oh yeah, this thing's just swimming in wash. There we go. And like seeing, I'm saying like a lot because I'm filling in vapid gaps. Me not talking. I like shows that even if they're not on for 50 seasons, like you get these callbacks to characters where like they keep mattering. That to me is always like awesome. And Eric Roberts' character Junior is like very much that, where he could have been a single season villain counterpoint kind of character. And it's like, nope, he's in the crew now. One last little dash of this stuff. But yeah, that's what happens when you use the term throat chop. The night out. That's why I wasn't here last night. Watching the Righteous Gemstones. Absolutely great show. Highly recommend it. There's probably more full frontal dick shots on that show than the entire rest of TV combined, which I think is hilarious. There's one point, there was an interview with Danny McBride. He's like, now it's like I look for it because sometimes it's hidden. But he's like, I'm deeply committed to having a penis shot in every episode. I'm like, you know what? You're a fucking hilarious guy. Sometimes you have to dig for it a little bit, though. But you will be rewarded. Sometimes it's very obvious. All right, now we're laying the stuff on. There we go. Oh, what a beauty. Make sure there's no spots I haven't hit. Which is actually potentially a problem on this because the model's so big it's easy to miss a spot and then... It's Warhammer Negan. I don't know where I get such amazingly complimentary comparisons. It's like super kind. I love it. If I cut my hair, well, if and when I cut my hair at some point, I'm definitely gonna Halloween it up as Negan. I could do it. Alright, just dab more in here. Alright, I can set this thing aside. Oh, I know. I remember. It's good to see you. I just end up with like, I don't know. People have been super kind. With the comparisons and nicknames. Oh yeah. No, the biker jacket's super easy. Get the scarf going. baseball bat with barbed wire is trivial. Get my cuss face on. All right, and just drop some isopropyl on a little squeegee thing. Clean this out. Let's see what's next on the docket. I can definitely get some work done. Oh yeah, no, the red scarf is supremely important. All right, this is a rescue bloat drone. It's funny, I got 2 bloat drones and they're both sprayers. Is what it is. I should make a... I might need one more of these guys. Or I might just... I don't know. I feel like I need a lawnmower version. It's a smug asshole grin I can do, no problem. As long as I have the bat. That actor's phenomenal. And apparently, like, when he got the call, before he knew, like, you know, the producer or whatever, he knew he was getting a call, and he's like, please let it be Negan. Please let me be Negan. I never played Gears of War. Not once. I'm familiar with the franchise pretty thoroughly, but never played it. Don't know what a Locust vehicle looks like. But I can tell you this looks like one. All right, how the heck am I going to paint this thing? I think it's going to be a lot of dry brushing to start. By think, I mean that I'm pretty certain. Yeah, I'm going to go to Death Forest Green. I'll dry brush the daylights out of this bad boy. I can pick out some stuff, but getting it to like a base color, like I'm not even going to, this thing might end up so grunged up that some of the metallics on it is like, happy painting Negan, I'm off to bed. I'm sure you slay that great. I shall. I'm on a mission. Thank you very much for stopping in. Like this thing is very much supposed to look like I say dry brushing, but like we're going pretty strong on this. This is like base coat, not dry brush. Base coat with a makeup brush. I gotta be super careful with it. It's a little bit on the frail side. But let's, you know, I might just splotch it. Splotching it's cool. What you get is a more broken up base coat. It's got some texture in it. I don't mean like physical texture. I just mean like texture on a 3D model kind of texture to it. And it's fast. Not gonna lie to you. Fast ain't bad. I will need to get a smaller one to like squeegee into some spots. Like I gotta be super careful around these fan blade things. They're kind of a hot mess. Like the owner. And then there is the fleshy parts. But it's not gonna hurt it if it's Death Forest Green underneath it. Wow, that's a lot of paint there, hombre. Get a little bit of that off of there. But if some pieces come flying off of this thing while I'm painting it, I'm not going to weep. This guy's a little special, a little touched. Oh, the fan's on. Praise. Praise. It does get warm in here now. Thankfully, with that window sealed up, though, around that vacuum air conditioner, it's just at least more efficient now. The actual cool air makes it over here instead of some futile attempt. This is a challenging model to clean and then repaint. It's got I mean, it's a challenging model like the first time, but like, man, this thing was glopped. I had to really get, like, you got to get into all those little, like, fiddly bit nooks and crannies. But it just had, like, all this junk in there. You know, the person I got it from, probably it wasn't even the first time the model was painted for them. They're like, I'll put some basing material on it. And then I'm like, wow, this thing's pretty messed up. I'll put some basing material on it. I'm probably just along for the ride, the legacy of this thing. This model's been painted by 48 different people. Just keep putting it up on eBay. You got a home now, son. You're where you belong. So you can see already, with that basing material down, you get this naturally just like brutally corroded look right out the gate. It's good stuff. Probably could have stood to put more on it. This thing's very, very happy with heavy amounts of basing material on it. Yep, see, I'm getting in there and like running into spikes and stuff. Might be time to downgrade the size of the brush. Yeah, I gotta weasel my way through a lot of this. Probably I can leave that intact. In fact, that's all flesh down there. Ha! Alright. Set this guy aside, grab something else. Alright, yeah, that makeup brush. It's at least like slightly chiseled. Use it to just get in there. It's a flat brush, which is good. Yeah, I should be able to if I'm careful. If I'm gentle, get in there. Just stipple a lot of places. That's all metal up there. What am I doing? Oof, poor brush. Poor brush. Oh, buddy. Just hang on. Dab, 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 dab. Well, it's getting green. That's progress. So wobbly. My guy. Such a precarious model. And the undercarriage is kind of a pain. Now I remember distinctly that I didn't add. I had this stuff hanging off of it, the droopy tentacles before. First time I did this guy, but he was definitely not on the base, so I could just flip him over and get to all this stuff. I think what I'm going to be doing is like whatever that flesh tone's going to be, I'm just going to be like sneaking in there. It's going to take a while. Like, it's all well and good that I'm doing the base coat pretty silly fast, but this guy not going to be easy. Despite his grotesque looks. There's a lot of flossing to do between this metal stuff. It's all just like round. Oh yeah, total huge spots that I missed. Good. Found them. Like as I spin the thing around, I'm trying to put a finger on the back side of whatever piece I'm pushing this brush into just so I don't accidentally scooch something off. I mean, I glued these guys on pretty roughneck, but it took some effort to get them to stick, like crazy glue plus baking soda effort. There we go. I do need to find all these points that like still have some cruft sitting in them from previous effort. All right. It's all flesh. So confusing. All right, set that down for a second. Take a deep breath, have a sip of coffee, have a puff. Oh, big stretch. What else? What do I need to accomplish on this? I mean, mostly it is armor and metallics is obviously like a component of flesh on the back of it. I should probably work up the fleshy parts first. Methinks. And yep, I am going to just green up the flesh parts for now. Because any flesh tone over green just looks terrible. Like, terrible in a good way. But I don't want any background gray that I can't really... If I could see an angle to it, like, I just want to make sure at the very least it's greened up down there. Look at these fans. And I know there's going to be spots that I missed. But I don't want to miss a lot. Yep, there's a spot. Right in there. All this area right up against a bunch of these bizarre connections. Behind these headdress bits. All right. I think I'm ready to chill out on that. So, get these guys a nice dip in some isopropyl. I'll probably chuck the isopropyl after I clean these guys off. What that'll allow me to do is close this. Whoop. Give these guys a dip. Let them soften up a little bit. Yeah, you guys just hang out there for a second. Find a flesh tone to use. Ruby skin's probably not bad. Leopard something or other, probably not bad. Is that the lightest one? I don't want the lightest one. Tourmaline skin? Nah. I want something a little... Hey, Mingo. What is up, buddy? It is good to see you. Yeah, paper towel's gonna be dead by the time I'm done with this. Oof. Woof. Sanding my build plate for my big printer and waiting till 11:30 to head to work for a shutdown. Is a shutdown a permanent unelectrifying of a building for a while? The person who makes sure it's actually shut off? Adding a little bit more water to my water cups. I should clean them out. I'll do that after tonight. Yeah, so we have to tie into the main feed for the hospital so we can temp power for the new edition suite. I can imagine hospitals prefer to do things in that regard as professionally as possible and for as little time as possible. Seems likely that hospitals will be a little sensitive to lack of power. All right. Did I actually choose, or did I just talk about choosing? Peek over here and see what I got. I got some grotesque green lying around. I got some necrotic flesh lying around. Go Yeah, let's just go with necrotic flesh. It's a classic. It's not going to be all that different than the Death Forest Green, but be different enough. And it is going to get all kinds of highlighting and washing on it that'll make it different. This guy is going to definitely be in the It's Not Easy Being Green territory. Make sure I understand where the flesh ends and everything else begins, which is the somewhat eternal struggle of Deathguardy stuff. I'm probably going to actually wash this thing in some form of red or pink, which will make it look doubly foobarred. I'm doing this now because I'm gonna do the trim last. There's just a lot to work through on this guy. I can get up to the trim, even nick it. But not really go further. That's a little bit loosey-goosey. There we go. But knowing I'm going to go over it with, like, I don't know, something bronze or brass. In the case of the tubes, some sort of gunmetal-y thing means I don't have to be too silly right now. Be careful enough to keep it from being a bunch of extra work. It looks way lighter. It is way lighter. Obviously, everything looks more pronounced when it's wet. Something you always got to be wary of. I don't think there's a single red that looks like what I think it's going to look like while it's wet. I always struggle with that. Started getting used to it, but painting for what you want while it's wet is a sort of recipe in never being right. It's so much different. But something you can absolutely get used to. And there's little bits in here where you can see, like, it's still very, very dark. It's going to be fine. What we're going to have is pretty assertive washing. Some dark divots in there is good. It's very porous right now because of the basing material on this guy. And it's going to be significantly darker than that necrotic flesh by the time we're done. But if I don't lighten it up a bunch, it'll all just be dark, dark. You won't see a thing. We don't want that. I'm going to try to hit some of these little cracks in here that look like, you know, cracks in the armor that's a wound. Lighten them up a little bit. I may at some point choose to, like, push in a little bit further. invade with more flesh, but like these stringy bits, I get those. This is a different headdress. I guess headdress is the right word. Maybe different headdress than I'm used to from the first time that I did this model. I also run into the issue if you hold it by the base, it's sitting on those dangling strings. It's too wobbly as all heck. It's very tenuous, fragile model. You know what? I hit all these sticks a little bit. I'm not going to try to hit them completely. I'm just going to hit the front face of them a bit. Lighten them up. So I'll probably pick something a little bit wood or bone toned on them. While I'm sitting here with a lighter paint, getting a wee bit of light out of it is not a bad idea. Doesn't need to be full coverage. Likewise with the snot drippies. Need a tentacle with it. All right, now we're gonna what? Oh, we're not. I was gonna move on to the next step. I ain't even close. I ain't even close yet. Water on here. Off to the side. There we go. Keep it loose. But there will be a second, very thinned out coat that's got to go on. All over the place on this guy. Hey, what's up, Sectrix? Good to see you, lad. All right, so the underbelly of this thing. Oh, what a pain you're gonna be. All right, it's gonna be a long stretch. We're gonna do it. What I'm going for the fleshy parts in this is basically like this necrotic flesh. It's going to be the baseline to get things rolling. And then I'll lighten up all the boils and stuff like that, probably with Averland Sunset, because we're still in that mode. And then I'll give it some sort of pinky kind of wash. Not like neon pinkish, but something in sort of the red zone. Maybe I'll start with Guilliman Flesh because I always find that teehee funny. It's my like flesh tone of choice wash for my Death Guard. And then make it look sweaty in a few spots. Feverish. I just turn that all into flesh. Alright, there's definitely a few angles on this tentacle I didn't get quite right. That underneath there could be a little fleshier. Pretty soon I think I can move on to a second coat. Things like tentacles might not get one because it's not going to end up being necrotic flesh colored. This is just me bringing that up from the base coat color. Oh, it's got tentacles in front though. I should hit those. I should be a good person and paint the model. Should also clean this brush in a minute. Ugh. Ugh. Once again, this will be trim and metallic last. So bumping into those things, not too big of a deal. Just trying to not be so sloppy as to make future me unhappy. A little bit of this is tendony, stretched out. It's actually got little stitches on it. Pretty cool. So we'll hit that. This is like the epitome of Demon Engine. It's like, man, this thing clearly does not have like a place to ingest normal fuel. It does not abide by the laws of physics. It lives purely on vibes. Oh, we're hit. We're hit. Got a wild badger invading from the bunker. Jumping out. Bayonet in one hand and trenching tool in the other. It's good to see you, Badger. How are you? What were you up to? Now that you're free. Now that the calendar is ticked over, tell me the face of freedom. Oh, big stretch. Let's clean this brush. Relax a bit. Completed Cyclops and Cyclops. Nice. 4 desolators. What is a desolator? Do they make things desolate? And unbox some bolt action moves. Nice, you got your bolt action stuff. Sweet. What which box did you go for? Nerf gun dudes. Which of the bolt action boxes did you pick up? Oh, yeah. Best versus the world. Is it the Currahee U.S. Airborne D-Day Starter Army with armies of the United States, or is it literally called Airborne Paratroopers? Just the 30 dudes. Okay, so there's no guns. I'm just. Why don't I show you the window I'm looking at? Point. Is it this? D-Day invasion. This one. Haha. Oh, you mean the one that says exactly what you told me it was on the label? That one. That is rad. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh no, I can't. Maybe I can. Nope. Well, it's got some zoomed in shots. That's a pretty rad set. Very cool. Gun teams are dope. All right, kill that. Boop. You didn't get the mortars? I mean, I can only speak from the other side of the equation. I mean, I've enjoyed buying stuff off of eBay. Um, I've had pretty good experience with it. This model's from eBay. Beat to crap, but it was not the reason I got this bundle. It's kind of bonus. Um, but I've never sold anything on eBay, so I can't like speak too much about it. But I do think that eBay is where a lot of people go looking for stuff. And I do think I personally like the idea of bidding on things. It just seems like a very sane way to get like the optimal price for something. I have had good experiences with eBay. I'm going to build 3 different 500 point lists of all infantry, try the game out. If I like it, I can expand the tanks and larger stuff. Yeah, that is extremely sound logic. I dig it. Get a variety going. Is it a popular game amongst your local nerddom? Or are you dragging people down with you? Yeah, because worst case, I have a bunch of 28 millimeter World War II minis. Yeah, that's exactly like no problem there. I've never seen anyone play. Yeah, I mean that's basically like why I painted Sisters was so that I could play with someone with my Death Guard. It's a sound play. Now I could just show up with a couple of armies and be like, anyone who wants to play, let's do this. Sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands. Press the issue. Who wants to play? No excuses. Solo option sounds pretty great. I think those would be very interesting models to paint because like there's a very specific like sculpt style in terms of proportions. And then even from the pictures, like there's probably a lot of opportunity to to really do some cool stuff with those models, because like smaller companies don't have the same army of painters that someone like Games Workshop does. And yeah, not every single, official Games Workshop paint job is like what I would do, but like they apply a lot of heat with their marketing. Whereas for something that is very real world and a smaller company, like, be curious how much extra sauce you can add to those models. Because like from the pictures, like they're all very much like white eyes, black line down the middle. Be very curious to see what you come up with. Mainly they all have eyes, and I'm scared of that, but I digress. Hey, Clamphill, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so one thing I want to make sure I don't miss, maybe this brush is a little on the big side for it, so I might shrink down a little. There's all these weird cracks where the flesh might show through. I'll lighten those boys up. Thin this out a little bit. I think the brush tip on this might end up a little too thick for this business. No, not too bad. Well, I'm a little bit careful. I just want to lighten up these little, like, lightning bolt cracks. When is your birthday? Happy birthday. Kill Team birthday tournament sounds sublime. May 17th. May the 17th be with you. I know. It's a pretty corny joke, but happy birthday, buddy. What kill team are you killing with? Rekka crew? Sweet. That's a fine birthday choice. Show up, have fun, wreck stuff, have a blast. All right, now I'm just going through this paint that I'm putting on now is very, very thinned out. Very deeply thinned out. We're just trying to get some crevasse work. But that's going to leave us needing to let this guy evaporate a little bit. Wet work, as they say. Got $20 on Votann. When do you not have $20 on Votann? Other news, I'm going to be converting my nail gun air compressor into an airbrush compressor. Can you do that? I mean, I suppose just compressor. Never, I love my peoples. Good answer. I just didn't know if it was different because, like, a nail gun is such an impact. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. It's all the other fiddly bits between that and the trigger. Sweet. All right, give this brush has seen some shite. Give him extra care. Add a water separator and a reducer for the airline. I don't know what a reducer does. I know what a water separator does, but why don't you need one for a nail gun? Is it because it just doesn't matter if any water comes out of the exhaust? Like while you're ka-chunking? Yeah, all right. Okay, that all tracks to what my ignorance tells me. Oh, Mingo, while you're here, what is the metallic that you use on your Death Guard again? I don't want to go as dark as I normally do. Was it Balthazar Gold? That's my wager. All right, Balthazar Gold it is. I ain't got none of these gold and iridescent copper. Oh, but I do have ink. I do have ink. You know. Let's do some ink. I haven't worked with ink in a while. I'm due to mess something up. I could mix some crap. Yeah, let's do it. I have some Liquitex garbage. I'm curious how it looks, and I don't think I've actually used this one yet. Actually, I need to... Oh my god, this stuff is... it's shiny. That's like way more than I need, but I never use this stuff, so... Let's partay. I am going to use a different brush than I normally use. This stuff is rich. Oh yeah, that's like dynamite. And it does, like, depending on how thin you do it, does let some of the green through. It's kind of nice. It's potent. Dark, but potent. Not as dark as Warplock. Not that crazily far from... that gold. Fun, though. Super sparkly. So sparkly. And good for dabbing. And then I can corrode this crap up with something bright blue. On the spots that are heavily textured now. Little challenging getting inside here, but we're okay. I imagine the metallics on this might end up being 2 passes. Like I may make this first pass on this guy, and then just let him dry overnight. Think about what he's done. Think about my life choices. It's potent stuff. Oh, big stretch. Ugh. Scooch in there. Scooch in there. Little scooch over there. Oof. Shiny. I heard a bubble. Ah. Ah. You're the best, man. For reference, golden iridescent copper on the left, Balthazar gold on the right. I feel like I'm halfway between those two. Those are both really nice, though. Let's see, which one was which? Golden iridescent copper on the left. Yeah, that makes sense. That is nice. That is rich stuff. That would be good, like, top of cupcakes. Maybe on a donut. Oof. Iridescent copper on a donut. Dip the whole thing, turn it over. Make use of the AK streaking grime to dull it. Yeah. Yeah. I dig it. It's a little weird. Not in a bad way. It's different. Painting over when I've used so much basing material to make this thing look like it's all corroded. Because in spots, it looks like the paint is like a foot thick, and it's not. It's just because it's not a super flat surface. Imperfection is fun to work with. Like this thing is just like a knob of glop. But it's not on there that thick. It's what lies beneath. But the outward facing bits on here probably going to need a second coat no matter what. I don't know why I poured out 6 gallons of ink, excuse me. As soon as I did it, I was like, oh, that's right. Squeeze bottles carry a massive payload of paint in them. Woof. A little water on here. Oops. Good enough. Good enough for government work. Yeah, those ink bottles, like, The eyedroppers on there, like, whoa. Plus, I've been using these little disposable ones to like pull little bits of wash out of things and move stuff around, and they carry very little. I went over to the mega eyedropper and just gush. Careful. Careful. And I'm not avoiding stuff, but like I'm not going to get into the absolute micro details. I just want a good first coat, and then wherever I got to sneak in with a tinier brush, so I don't have as much width attacking it. Do that in the second pass. Keeping it light. Oh yeah, that's too much. Easy there, buddy. Soak some of that back up. Spread it around. Share the wealth. There we go. Stuff's so potent. It's good though, like the coverage for even like a very thin coat is pretty solid. There's a lot of shiny bits floating in this ink. I get this whole thing. This model's so beat. It's seen better days. Like 2 out of 3 of the spikes on here just boof, gone. It's a veteran fetid bloat drone. Just happy I can remember the name fetid bloat drone. I've like choked on it like 3 or 4 streams in a row. I'm like, what is this thing called? It's not hard to like. Not difficult. It's not like miasmic malignifier. Sometimes it's just hard to put the pieces together in my brain. I'm going to convert my Stillen box from 2002 Predator to a Chaos Predator. Sweet. 2002. That's a long time ago, homie. How old were you in 2002? Sweet. love it. What a hobby. Child. He was. Quite legit. A wee flamingo. A nestling. You weren't even pink yet. Those metal, yeah, they are like weird metal strappy bits. All right, model. The Wii Mingo playing Pokemon on my Game Boy Advance. You'd be happy to know that my children get a very proper Pokemon education. They have a pop-up book, the books with the doors that open. I have one for like every type, and they're crazy. There's like 80 to 100 different like open up. Who's behind this thing? Oh, so good. My 4-year-old has a better Pokemon mental dictionary than I do at this point. In 2002, I was 2002. 25. Started with crystal version, then got gold and silver, then yellow, then ruby. Ruby's my kid's name. She's gonna lose her mind when she finds out that there's a game version of Pokemon called Ruby. She's very fond of her name. It's a good name. Third gen is one of the best. It's interesting. Like for years, I had very little exposure to Pokemon. Like some of it was like I was just a little bit older at the time. Like Magic the Gathering had its hooks into me. Um, and like the show was like not really was right in that sweet spot for age thing. And so all my experience with Pokemon for years was just that old school N64, I think, Pokemon Snap, the photography game, which is a phenomenal game. But like anything related to like Ash, Misty, Brock, pretty in the dark on. And then Pokemon Go came out. I started playing that. I wouldn't describe myself as a master trainer at this point, but yeah, and they did come out with a subsequent version, like a whole legit new Pokemon Snap for the Switch, which was good. I enjoyed it. It brought back many a fond memory. Good times. Oh, I should get all these little spikes on here. Zoink. Oh, spine. Ugh. Let's see where we're at. I think so. I don't think it was a remake. I think it was like legit. It'd be interesting if I was wrong though. If it had been so long that it just felt like a new game and that I thought I was playing, but I don't think it was. I thought they made. I don't think it was. Maybe it wasn't called Snap, but like it was entirely the same. Like go around, take some photos, on rails, but red and blue for Audette and Otsis. The very first Christmas, and it was funny the two of them sitting on the couch. Yeah, like that's a really awesome part of the connectivity component. There's I can't remember what versions they are on the Switch, but I got one of them for my wife and one for my stepdaughter for the exact same reason, like for Christmas, so they could both sit there on their Switches. It's funny. One of these fan blades is totally backwards. All good. All flight patterns possible with chaos. I hear the toot toot of the Discord. I'll go check that. Un momento. Tiny little nubbin. Yeah, that little nubbin's bent. Yeah, at least it's still there. Yeah, Musa SOB. For real. For real. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Look at these folks. Those look dope. You guys got a little briefcase with extra ammo. This Badger stuff, by the way. Yeah, this. Oh, those came out great. Absolutely great. A fun project. What a nerd. What a cool guy. Very cool. Quoth Will, brother from another mother. I love arms and bits. It's like, oh, I'm holding ammo. I'm holding a box. Look at how dynamic I am. Yeah, I like it. I got a special place in my heart for it. Who knew you had to abuse the poor boy till he let his shield down? Yeah. I want my son to figure it out, but he isn't quite there yet. Yeah. I played the Pokemon card game with my mom. She was the one that got me the cards initially. Yeah, and the games. Good job, Mama Flamingo. Mamingo. I never won the TCG game versus her. Yeah, that's good stuff. He's also a master Tetris player. It's funny, man. Like, my dad didn't really play video games. Like, he got me a ColecoVision way back in the day, which is an amazingly like super generous gift. And but it was not like a video game dude at all. This is like in the early 80s. But he would come and sit down and play Cubert and just like run the thing infinite. like Qbert on ColecoVision, it went up to like a max, absolutely unfathomable difficulty, and then it just looped, and he would just play that for a while till he got bored. But like you, a lot of times it's like, oh, these kids with these video games, but like your parents, if they just stepped up to them, absolute threats. Sometimes I wonder if the difficulty of a lot of those games was like purely catered to the fact that they were mostly being played by kids and they're not actually as hard as like looking at the original Zelda full map. Game does not look nearly as big as you remember it when you were a little kid. Yeah, Tetris on the original Game Boy, man, that was a revelation and a huge part of the success um, of that console. Like, what a crazy thing to be able to play at will anywhere. I played so much Tetris on that Game Boy. It was so perfect for it. See if I can get any sort of tip on this brush. Doubtful. This thing is just like, clean it up a little bit. This is not a precision brush, but that's just with a couple little swizzles on it. The bristles are mad thick, and it does not care nearly as much if you've got metallic chunky bits in there. And so it cleans real easy, stays intact for quite a while. But you do pay with some amount of precision. The catch is, if you're just dabbing ink on there, it's still pretty good. Sounds like Odd Sis with Wario Woods on NES. I think she got over 360. She finally just dropped the controller. I'm done. Yeah. That, like, all right, I've done everything I need to do here. Peace. Let's see if I've got a slightly more precise brush that I can beat on a little bit. Don't want to beat this guy up. This guy, yeah, this one that I cut the leg off of from Monarch. Similarly thick bristles, but it actually goes to a little bit of a tip. Which if I can maintain that, it'd be kind of nice. Yep, that is metally around there. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good job, brush. The death of a Game Boy. I mean, literally, they just got played into the ground. Like, you can't blame the device. It was just such a crazy ability to be able to play anywhere. Battery technology was like nowhere near where it is today. It was wild. Still got the Fat Boy Game Boy laying around somewhere. I think it still works. Crazy. That's dope. Like, it really took cell phones proliferating to really push battery technology forward. So that stuff back in the day, all of it was like a quantum leap. But think about, if you really love playing video games, the ability to play them anywhere and not having a cell phone at the same time to like fill that gap, like those Game Boys just got worked. Like the classic like car ride play session. Like, oh, we're driving to Virginia. Like, all right. Just keep playing and charging. Oh yeah, this brush is perfect for this. It's doing just fine. Nice thick bristles. Holds a decent amount of ink on it. And I'm hoping, like the other one, because of the bristle size, when I need to evacuate all the sparkles out of it, it'll be okay. Oklahoma is okay. I want to go all the way to the end of this. I'll get the spike on the end. Smooth, anyway. The amount my Game Boy SP got used, Lord have mercy. Yeah, 4AA is good for the full time you're awake. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, the other thing is, like, it's, you just get a stack of AA's or rechargeable ones. Oh my gosh. I think my favorite version was the Advance. SP is cool because it's compact, but slightly larger screen. Just incredible at the time. And it didn't take much. Yep, downside was the batteries. Went to Disney World, so my sister and I are standing in line. Yeah, oh my God, while everyone else stands around looking bored. I wish some of the older tech was modernized for battery life and charging and not for features. I know, right? Grab the warm light before it drained the battery 4 times larger. I had that light too. I actually have a couple of those lying around. I bought a couple because I was going to use them for just other random crap. And they seemed like the right profile. I didn't get up to work. I don't remember what that thing I was doing was, but that light, man. Oof. But kept the game going. Kept you able to see it. A light, the darkness. Get the whole containing ring. Yeah, that's the way to go. Better on the profile. Get all this crap up here. You forgot to save for like 3 hours, then it died, and you have to go back and redo it all. Good gosh. People were so much more tolerant. Like, games are so much more hand-holdy now. And I don't mean that as like old man. Back in my day, games were tough. It's just amazing to me how different the design is now of games in general. And it's very different. And as someone who pays very, very copious amounts of their life essence attention on game design, it is genuinely quite wild to me, like over the years, just in my lifetime, how much the norms of game design have changed. And so, like, games that are, hey, do this right without a save point or do it again, are seen as like crazy hardcore. Like a Souls-like game is like, hey, this boss is going to be punishing, but like that, all bosses were brutally punishing back in the day. And that idea of having to go back, like try it without the optimal equipment, and then go back and go all the way across the world to now find the optimal equipment for it. And that was Zelda. That was arguably Mega Man to an extent. And, I'm not saying that I like the old way. Like, I didn't get into Souls-like games until Elden Ring. Like, take me along for the ride of saying, like, my tastes changed. But then when I got into it, I really did like it. So there's something to be said for that, too. EB Games was tossing them in the trash, so I took out the trash. Ha! The light was its eye. Yeah, the glob monster of the tentacled vision piece. But yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, the classic is Contra, like as far as a very early on game where it's like you have this many lives, and there's a cheat code to have 30 lives, and you could get more lives. I mean, the whole idea of like the one up being a massively awesome reward, where like the reason it's valuable is because you're going to flip and die a bunch of times, and you need that extra chance before you get no more chances. Like even that, just to think about it, like the extra life, how we use that phrase, one up, the green mushroom, extra life, and like almost no games have any concept of that anymore. Probably got like 1,000 hours in DS3. Yeah, Dark Souls 3, man. Like I never played it. All I've done is Elden Ring, but like it was also, I think it was refined to the point that I would like it. Like I'm not going back and grabbing a ton of Souls like stuff. Stopped playing because my old computer couldn't handle it. Yeah, the old Sonic games, absolutely. Like the hit someone, dump all your rings. Oof. I have to say that one of the hardest bosses that I fought was Jinpachi from Tekken 5 on PS2. I don't remember who Jinpachi was. I was a big Tekken person for like Tekken 1 and 2. I hopped on Demon Souls at release purely because I heard how hard it was. And I was so bad at it. You cope with punishment pretty well, though. Shredder TMNT for the NES. Beat him exactly once. Yes, that classic. Like I did it once. I have no interest in ever doing it again, but I did do it once, and that's important. Yeah, TMNT was very classic quarter eater. And a lot of that idea of like the one up and extra lives comes from the fact that, games were riffing off of coin op. And so it was kind of neat that like you could play, the whole idea was that you could play video games from the arcade at home and have fun with that. But like Super Mario Brothers was the departure where it was like specifically made and tuned to play at home, but it still had the idea of like how many lives you got. But it wasn't about repetition anymore. It was about adventure and completionism. Like, I wonder just how difficult Zelda and Super Mario Brothers would be for me today. Just you think about the original NES. I mean, obviously the Atari was even simpler with just like stick and button, but you had so few controls to think about, but then you had so much less control than you do nowadays with any character. It's like less craziness in terms of what you need to think about, but a very tight number of things you can possibly do to keep yourself alive. But I loved Contra, and like the idea of having a buddy over, putting the password in to have 30 lives, and just playing it and seeing how far you could get, even like with 30 lives. It wasn't like a guaranteed win at that point. What did I do over here? Went all the way there. Okay, I see what I did. How I translated it. I am going to go all the way around. And just treat a lot of this as corrosion on here. So it'll get a second pass with some bluish green. Excuse me. Got it. Gotta get the pointy part. Zoop. It's just so different than it. Yeah, talking about what was it, Demon Souls? Just so different from everything else at the time. Yeah, like turning punishing into its own. This is the only place you can get it. Experience was like an absolutely genius move on their part. Yeah, it's such a ball. I got close, but I haven't touched it since. Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Sure, I might have rage quit a few times, still never beat it. Yeah, but like it's a novel experience. It's like something you cannot get anywhere else. And like that's important. Spent so many quarters on Street Fighter 2 and Aliens. Oof. Gosh, yeah. Mortal Kombat for me was like massive quarter eater also. Yar's Revenge. Did I play that? Who the heck is Yar? What's up with his revenge? Oh, got some tanks. These are from Tank. Fitting enough. What's up, Tank? You make some tanks? These are dope. Sign me up. I'm so psyched to be getting another Plague Burst Crawler. Demon Souls was called Frustratingly Good. I like to call myself. Oh my god, so tanky. I have 3 totally different configs. That's awesome. So many different weapons, Tank. Are these ones on repulsor thingies? You do need to paint your Plague Burst Crawlers. They're so good. So violently pointy. Like this guy right in bottom left are hover tanks. I do think Games Workshop does a pretty phenomenal job with their tanks. And those are cool. Mo tanks, mo problems. All right, what do we got back there? What kind of glow is that? It's not Tesseract. Not Hex Wraith. I don't think I own that one. Warpstone glow. GG. What green is that also? Like on the actual tanks. This thing hiding back here. That's rich. Some rich green. Caliban green. That makes good sense. Makes really good sense. I should see if I have the equivalent of that up here. I probably do. There's some army painter version that's like that. I should grab, pop some of that on some of my guys. I appreciate your appreciation of green. I heard another boop boop. As a salamander, I have to appreciate green. No doubt, man. I think by the year 2050, it'll be canonical that the Death Guard and salamanders get together and take on everyone else. Take all takers. If I decide to form a good team. We'll take the lion along with us. Maybe some Necrons. Just go team green. Did I hit anything? I don't think I hit anything. Those are the main greens in the chat for you. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha. Where was it? Also, yeah, here we go. Quite true. I love it. I love it. Perfect. Thank you for that pick, by the way. Yeah, Moot Green. Moot Green's dope. Yeah, with this three greens, man. These three greens. You can get a lot done. Caliban, Warpstone Glow, Moot Green. dig it. Thank you. Here they are for you. Boop. I love moot green. I need a little bit of these. I'll probably pick, you know what? I may pick some of these up. When I go to pick up my crap on Saturday. My crap, I mean my Death Guard crap. It's a World of Tanks player. That picture's hilarious to me. I mean, it's a pretty smart way to handle it. Just boop. The salamander recipe. Free recipes. Thank you for sharing. Those are like, I think one of my favorite things is like finding, you see a paint and you're like, I need that. Obviously, I'm going to use it for very different reasons than salamander reasons, but I think it's especially true of Citadel paints, where I think that the better Citadel paints, I'll go ahead and say it, it's not a hot take. I think that the better Citadel paints are some of my favorites, but I've had a lot of hit and miss, and I've found a lot of alternatives to a lot of paints that have just been better. So flat. Fallow green is nice. It's nice to pronounce too. Whoever had the idea of PHTH, absolute savage. Also player, or it's been a while. I've actually played with Auditor like once for 40 minutes. Got down, got busy, I think. We did play that one time, didn't we? Probably sitting on a bunch of currency still. I've played this year, but not this month. Word. we tuned. It was a lot to digest getting back into that game, even for just a session. A lot of things, even just in the general like UI outside of the game, it changed. It was cool though. Felt good to be back. Felt good to get blasted out of nowhere. It's I think at this point the people that still play it are just like, it happens a lot with games. You know, the audience for it does shrink a bit, even though it's still a deeply possible game, popular game. You know, because it's been out for years. You've got people that have played it so long that it like builds out a culture of like somewhat competency amongst a lot of the players. So like you can't get away with the same crap as when the game just came out. And I'm one of those players who like is at their finest when I'm taking advantage of people that shouldn't be playing the game. I'm not at my finest when I'm playing against people with actual skill. The old tricks don't work. Just curious what sort of camera you're using to stream your painting. That is a fine question. It is an older Canon. Actually, I'm not sure if this one is that much older. Let me click a couple things and see if I can do it without breaking. Oh, no, it's not going to tell me because I'm going through a clear click. Let me see if I can see it on here. It is an EOS Rebel S3 Canon. It's a good little camera. It's not heavily expensive, but like, you know, it's a big boy camera. But I run it through a thing called a clear click, which is like a converter box to go from. Let me see if I can dig this thing up. Yes. 3? Do they even sell it anymore? Yeah, I think it's basically a slightly older version of this lad. And then you run it through a oh my god, Rob. I do have tips and tricks for that. You run it through a let's see, clear click. Yeah. Something or other. Clear click. It's a box. It doesn't look like any of these things on here at all whatsoever. But you run it through a box so you can like get your HD into your computer, essentially. Yeah. Okay. So, Rob, what I would do is I would strongly consider like prime and black, pretty quickly dry brush or stipple your base coat. If you have an airbrush, that's great. Obviously, it's super fast. If you don't, just dry brush on the base color. Pick two things to highlight, probably a metallic, and then probably like one other color on the models. So like if you were doing Necrons, it'd be like your glow color and um, whatever the bony stuff is would be like, all right, those would be my two extras, but I'd prime them whatever like the plate color was. Not that there's that many plates on a lot of them. Or you just dry brush them metallic and do a couple colors. If they were like sisters, I'd like start with black, dry brush something very close to black just so they get some amount of texture on it, and then pick like white or gold or like white and gold and just add some little details to it. I would pick an army that I'd go all helmets. So you're not working on a bunch of heads and hair and stuff like that. I would try to pick a color scheme that's very conducive to just one wash, either something black or maybe umber. And basically just like go through and I mean, for all intents and purposes, the bulk of the work that I did on this guy, the most geography of it, the body, I basically dry brushed a couple colors, and the hair, I dry brushed like one and put some washes on. Obviously, I added a bunch of extra detail to this after the fact, but this guy still looked pretty good before any of that crap. But dry brushing gives you a bunch of free texture. Like this Scar brand is black, and then the skin on it is like a couple dry brushes of like a brown and then a red. And then, yeah, I went back and added like scar tissue to it, but I didn't have to. Like, if you look at like, let me turn this so you can see it. All this, like under here, the rib cage. Mingo, have a great night, buddy. I didn't add any extra scars to it. Like it looks pretty solid. Dry brushing gets you a long, long way. So black dry brush or base color. If you were doing ultramarines, you just prime them in ultramarine or Macragge blue, and then dry brush a bit. One or two colors for details, and then wash them. Call it a day. And base coat the main color if the primer isn't that color. But like there are a few primer colors that are just like straight up. This is what your armor's gonna. There's a solid red, there's a blue, there's a yellow. There's definitely, I think there's a green out there. There are metallic ones. Let me scroll back up and see. What army are you working on, Rob? Yeah, Clampo, the having a I mean this camera is plugged in and turned on all the time. I never turn it off. Except when I gotta move stuff. Um and it just sits up there and either OBS or whatever needs it. I have it on. Yeah, you can see that from here. I have this bar that goes all the way across. It's basically clamped over here, clamped over there. If I needed to move it around, it's basically just it's on a little hooky thing, and I can put more crap up there if I need to. But a camera that's that heavy, you need a pretty solid rig to hold it up. Like putting that kind of camera on a loose arm, not fantastic. I did mess around with that thing on a tripod quite a bit. If you're in a position where you've got a lot of space behind you, you can set it up on a tripod behind you, but you've got to be super careful you don't back over it. Yeah, Sector X. On that note, I'm going to step away for a minute. Congrats that you're becoming a certified napper. Yeah, naps are dope. If you're looking for good tabletop battle report cams, look at the Nexigo. Hmm. Make no mistake, Sector X. I know full well and have for a while. A lot of people put on my wonderful droning voice to fall asleep. Better than prescription medication. This voice knock your ass out. It's a service. One that I am more than proud to help people with. Oh yeah, sleeping regular's best. The sleep lurk is like the pro move. But seriously, like sleep is so important. I am actually like not even like like I'm pretty honored when you're getting hired to audiobook all the Horse Heresy. Good God. Oh, woof. That would be quite a journey. Quite, quite a journey. I have a very crappy fake British accent, and I'm not going to even try here. I think a good British accent is a requirement for anything Warhammer. I don't think that day's coming. Yeah, 50 years later. Though, strangely enough, like reading books out loud a lot faster than you think. And the VO for it, provided you have like any training or experience for doing books, like they can be quite quick. They're like known as pretty like those rad Shakespeare videos. They're known to be like pretty quick gigs for professionals if you're professional about it. Not saying it's always that way, and someone's gonna be like, I heard a story about, and you're probably right. But in a lot of cases, it's pretty quick work. Sleep is for the weak now. As I go take a nap. I love naps. Man, I don't know what happened today, but I overslept by like a freaking mile. And I did not stay up late last night. It wasn't like I was streaming. I was just watching Tube, watching TV, watching The Righteous Gemstones with my wife. Got to bed at a decent hour. Like normally I'm at somewhat awake between like 7 and 8 a.m. Because that's when like my kids start getting noisy, and then like by 8 a.m. my house is like chaos in a good way. Little kids being directed around and stuff. So even without an alarm, I'm generally just up. And I had a dentist appointment at 11:15, and I woke up at 10:15. My stand-up for work, for me working as an indie dev, my stand-up is at 10 o'clock, and I whiffed on it. I just kept sleeping. Slept through 2 phone alarms and toddlers being directed to get ready for the day. I just didn't wake up. It's weird. Weird. Felt well rested all day, though. It was fantastic. What do you do for content on your stream? Oh, I let my chatters watch paint dry. Yeah. I would like to petition to have VODs here again now that there's no audio so that I can audio book you to sleep. Oh, Gemstone's so good. Like, it's, I think it's not just funny. It's like it's comedic art at its finest. Yeah, so I'm still in season 3. I'm late to the party, but like there are so many lines in every episode that are just gems. Anything Keith does, I lose my mind. And he's like a lot of very subtle moments with Keith. And even a ton of the smaller characters still just have like some of the funniest subtle lines. I think there's one point where this car flips over and it's got a trailer full of snake oil stuff, and PJ just goes, "The elixirs." It's just like, man, I lost it. Has Keith shown off his skills yet? Do you mean the fire skills? Because I think that was the last. Yeah, that was the last episode that I saw last night. Was the cousins party. every once in a while, Keith just like his response to something is just a sound. It's like so good. Oh my god, there's an episode where like so this is we talked about this earlier, but there's like just a bunch of gratuitous dick shots in almost every episode somewhere. And there's one scene where it's like, take it easy, Badger, where he just walks out and his t-shirt's too short. It's like just waking up. It's so funny. Oh, I love it. But yeah, and they just get piles. Like by season 3, there are piles of really amazing actors who just like show up for smaller parts because they know what's up. You can't go wrong with John Goodman. You could try, but you probably fail. I feel like Steve Zahn already showed up. I feel like we looked that up last night. Maybe it was just because we had IMDb up on our phone so much that I just saw him. I'm just making that up. I make a lot of stuff up. Oh yeah, his cousin's dad. That's right. That is who he is with that crazy wig on. Yeah. Oh, that dude. Oh, that crazy evangelical guy. That doesn't exactly narrow it down, boss. Oof. It's wild. Like, they just have their production company. I think it's in South Carolina. And they film down there and just live down there. And every part of that. Is it Rough House Pictures? Part of that crew is just like living well and not having to spend time in Hollywood. Like, the entire operation is SMRT smart. Don't let your head get too big. You know what? I'm going to get this other ring around the eye and hit some of the eye with it. I'm going to get the whole eye. I'm going to get a little bit of shine behind it. Oh, yeah, Martin. And his first moment on his backstory episode, all the stuff they go through, and then Eli's like, you can call me Eli. Like, so good. So good. Like, you done proved yourself big time. That guy is fun. Everybody's fun. That's the thing about that show that I love the most, and is what I love about a lot of shows. It's a big cast of just awesome, funny characters. It's not some little, two funny people and some extra stuff. There's no chaff. Yeah, there's a weird spot I gotta get to. All right, how am I gonna do that? Careful. No, is that actually trim? No, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Could do it. Not gonna do it. All right. All right. Just one more spin, but I think I'm probably going to peace out now. I have certainly gotten tired. I have whiffed on waking up on time. I have another pretty long day tomorrow. Bunch of crap to do. I'm going to go back to the dentist, get a couple of fill-ins. Went to the dentist today. Very dental week. But I think I have hit my limit. It is time to call it a night. Dump you guys off on the side of the road. We got a decent chunk of stuff done. I think my Plague Marines are pretty much in the can. Maybe I'll give them another wash. Obviously, I got to base them, but they're looking pretty psyched. They're happy little dudes. That guy, he just wants to be a Plague Marine. Got the first pass done on the base for my Fudge Fiend. Washed that entire child painted Rhino. Got a decent amount of, base coats and some metallics on this thing. Not too bad. Folks, I will see you next time. You all are the best. Hope you have a great night. And I'll see you again soon.